Wow, Yasuke looks sick. I love the look of this show, and the setting is gorgeous. Wait, is that a mech? Motherfuck! Yasuke is a 6-episode Netflix original anime that you don't often hear about. It flew under most people's radars upon release, and frankly, for good reason.
And now I will defeat you!
Let me break it down for you. Yasuke is a straight-to-anime show based off of a real black samurai of the same name who fought in 16th century feudal Japan. Seems like a solid concept that could have some real cultural significance, right? Well, take your expectation that the series would be anything close to that and throw it out the window. We're fighting demons, we're casting magic spells, we're turning into wolves, we're piloting mechs! Wait, piloting mechs? In feudal Japan? Jesus Christ, okay. Now, I'm all for high fantasy stuff like demons and magic, but when you start throwing things like crazy technology and literal sentient robots into your series about samurais in feudal Japan, that's where I draw the line. So you're telling me this robot can fly and shoot ice lasers, but my boy Yasuke still has to shit in a bucket? Should've used that technology on indoor plumbing. I normally like when stories will bend the truth a little, or even just create a whole new narrative that's loosely based on historical events. What I don't like is when it goes too far. Yasuke is a series that consistently goes too far. Demons and magic being included in a series that takes place hundreds of years ago isn't something new to us. Games do it all the time, and shows do it all the time. And while they definitely take away any semblance of historical accuracy, they almost feel appropriate in this kind of setting. While you're giving up faithfully sticking to your base narrative, you're gaining a new way to portray your existing characters. And you can show how they interact with this world while also creating a potentially unique and whimsical environment. But sometimes, writers have to be told no. That time for this show was the CGI'd mechs. It's clear that the writers of Yasuke didn't want the series to be your run-of-the-mill, watered-down samurai anime, which is why they chose such a unique historical event with an awesome potential protagonist. What isn't clear is why they felt the need to constantly one-up themselves with arbitrary, underexplained, and unexplored power systems. For example, this guy's a good samurai. Well, here's someone who can shapeshift, giving them greater physical abilities than a samurai. Oh, that person has great physical abilities? Well, here's magic that can ruin that person without a second thought. Oh, that person has magic? Well, here's a mech that can, I don't know, shoot lasers, bomb them? They keep doubling down until it gets to the point of exhaustion. It just seems so convoluted when you start to think a little bit about what they were trying to accomplish here. You can create an interesting world without straying so far from your run-of-the-mill tropes. But if you insist on putting these things into your show, at least do them right. The system of magic that they have in this show is so incredibly inconsistent that to even attempt to enjoy what you're seeing, you have to just turn your brain off. Like, some people are born with crazy magic powers, some are born with less crazy magic powers, some people's powers kinda suck and pale in comparison to others, and sometimes people just use talismans or Naruto hand signs to shoot purple shit all around. There's no consistency. You can see how this would get out of hand with little to no explanation, right? And look, I understand that there were only 6 episodes of Yasuke, so there wasn't really a lot of time to explore these types of developments and really build a world that feels like it should include all of these things. But this resulted in us getting a world that's hardly fleshed out with main characters who we're supposed to care about, but don't really even know who they are. Let's talk about our important characters, starting with the main man himself, Sasuke. Wait, oh shit, my bad, I meant Yasuke. He is by far the most fleshed out backstory-wise, which can be expected when he's literally in the title of the show, but he's oddly also the most balanced character in terms of strength and fighting power. He can do some cool stuff and fight well most of the time, but he might even be a little bit weak for the world that they set up here. Dude takes L's, like, consistently throughout the series, and most of the time the viewer's left sitting there like, damn, is he really even the main character? Speaking of main characters, let's talk about the real main character of the show, glowing blue girl, Saki. Saki is a little girl who lives in the same town as Yasuke, but the catch is, she has magic powers. Ooh. Powers so strong that her body can't handle them, making her super ill. Well, at first she's super ill. Towards the end of the series, they kind of just drop her whole illness arc. No real reason why. She just isn't sick anymore and can use her magic powers all the time. despite the fact that she's getting physically closer to the person who's supposed to be suppressing her magic powers and making her ill, but anyways. Saki could be described as a typical Mary Sue character. A Mary Sue is a type of female character who is depicted as unrealistically lacking in flaws or weaknesses. They literally take away her only weakness and basically build the world around her. Everyone loves her, she's the strongest, and Yasuke, our supposed MC, is basically just guiding her on her quest to defeat the big bad purple lady. And don't get me wrong, there are shows that have Mary Sue characters that people love and consider great, but it's just really not working here for me. So, not only have they taken a super unique story and watered it down with high fantasy garb, but they flipped from a story completely about Yasuke and his coming to terms with his past regrets and traumas, to a story where everything relies on Saki and her ability to glow blue better than other people. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have been an important character in the series. I'm just saying that a series as short as this shouldn't have put so much of the limelight on a character who isn't supposed to be our MC. Now, let me talk about the 4 stooges, goons, the 4 people. We've got Bear Woman, Spirit Guy, Scythe Woman, and Sentient Mech Guy. They're mercenaries that are after Yasuke and Saki at the beginning of the story, but they end up turning over to their side later in the show. The show doesn't spend any time giving us any real backstory on these characters, who they are, or where they come from. Basically, the only time they're on screen is when they're fighting. I really wouldn't care about these throwaway characters if they didn't set their deaths up like they were some whole dramatic thing. Let's talk about what happens to them. Scythe Woman and Mech Guy become friends literally 15 seconds before Scythe Woman dies. So the mech dude, who can feel emotions I guess, suicides into the enemy with some big ass crazy looking bomb. But the catch is that it didn't even matter. It doesn't even stop the enemy push that's going on. I don't even think it delays them really. They just come anyway in the next scene. Our main group of people get pursued like nothing even happened. This rips away any meaning that his death had in an otherwise supposed emotional moment. And then the Bear Lady. The Bear Lady also charges in valiantly moments after the bombing as the enemies are rolling up, just to get knocked back and killed immediately. Like, bones crushed, all twisted up, didn't have any impact on the fight type of death. Why spend time building up this group of characters as super badasses who know how to fight and do it for a living, just to have them die in the worst ways for no reason? I guess the sentiment was there, but they got done dirty. From a distinct absence of character depth to lackluster world building, Yasuke is yet another case where Netflix brings forth a concept with incredible potential, blows it big time, and then sweeps it under the rug and acts like it never happened. What's really upsetting is that there are still good aspects to this anime. It's animated by MAPPA, who also did shows like Jujutsu Kaisen and Attack on Titan. Although I don't personally think that Yasuke lives up to those shows in particular, some of the visuals on display here are genuinely very impressive. The soundtrack is also really good. They break away from your typical anime battle music for this heavier funk synth type of sound. And Thundercat is featured on multiple tracks, including the intro. Need I say more? The English voice acting, aka the original way to experience the show, is also done really well, for the most part. It does suffer from mouth does one thing and voice does another syndrome, but that's how most anime is anyways. Yasuke had all the makings of a groundbreaking cultural phenomenon, but instead, we got a nonsensical, inconsistent mess of a story that disappointed time after time after time. Hey everyone, I just want to say thank you if you made it this far in the video. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Think this is a trash take? Then make sure you let me know in the comments down below. Tell me why I'm wrong. Thanks again, and have a great day.